Hello and welcome to everyone. Today we have a special guest. It's Travis Thompson, Bkfc fighter. Travis, can you please say a few sentences about yourself, about introduction, so we can kick off with the interview?
Yeah, no problem. My name's Travis the Animal Thompson. I'm out of Pottstown, Pennsylvania, in the U.S. Actually, today's my daughter's birthday. She's turned 8 today, so pretty fun day today so far.
Yeah, great. Yeah, great. Didn't know about that. Happy birthday anyway. So,
Thanks.
when, just to know, in my country today is Easter, believe it or not. Yeah, two special days, definitely. When did you start training martial arts?
Uh, well, I wrestled in high school, went to college, wrestled a little bit in college, and then I want to say I was 19 or 20. I started to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I was actually really good at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I got into boxing only because I wanted to be a cage fighter. And I got into boxing with Marty Feldman, who's Dave Feldman's father. So I've known the Feldmans for quite some time now. Um, Dave Feldman's been a part of almost all of my boxing. I've done MMA with him, and obviously bare-knuckle. So yeah, it's fun. I love to fight.
You mentioned wrestling and you mentioned BJJ. So, is boxing your fundamental martial art or it's wrestling?
Well, wrestling's what started off my whole. I started wrestling when I was in high school, so that was like my number one thing. I was a pretty good wrestler, but after you wrestle in high school and college, there really isn't anywhere for you to go with that. So I wanted to get into the MMA because of my wrestling background. But I got hooked up with Marty Feldman. I started boxing, did pretty well, and honestly, when I started boxing, I felt at home, so I just did the boxing.
Can you elaborate your nickname?
The Animal.
Yes.
I actually got that. I got my nickname when I was in high school from wrestling. And it's just, if you ever watch any of my bare knuckle fights, if you ever watch me fight doing anything, it doesn't matter. I'm always the aggressor. I always go forward. I don't know how to go backwards. So when I wrestled in high school, I was the same way. I always went forward, and I was always a tough individual. Always someone that you didn't want to mess with. That's how I got the nickname The Animal.
I watched you on many occasions. I assumed it's because of the aggression and because of the opportunity to eat strikes, but I was unsure about that.
Yeah, you
Who
got
are
it.
your coaches?
My coaches, it's
Yes.
at King's Gym in Reading, Pennsylvania. Uh, Maurice Morales, and then my boy Keenan Collins. I also have some other guys there that help out as well. But it's King's Gym in Reading, and that's where it's at, man.
Do you have a favorite strike?
Uh, I guess my favorite's an overhand right, but I didn't get to use it in my last fight. I wish I would have, but he never opened it up. He kept leaving his body open, so just kept hitting his body, and that's what beat him.
How was your martial arts life before bare knuckle fighting? You were probably which martial arts you were changing, where you were competing. Can you please say a few words or a few sentences, whatever? Go for
Oh
it.
yeah, I did a lot of Naga, which is it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I did a lot of those tournaments. I won a couple of those tournaments doing the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the no-gi. I did those, and that's why I wanted to get into MMA because of the Nagas that I did. But then I got into boxing, and I competed in boxing uh, for almost 10 to 12 years. And I got to travel to Vegas, New York. I've been around in boxing. So then I was actually getting ready to retire, like I was done with it. And Dave told me that he got the call for a bare knuckle, that it's a green flag, it's ready to go. So I was on the first one, the fourth one, the eighth one, and 10th one.
Fantastic. About bare knuckle debut, Reggie Barnett was also my guest,
Yes,
and
right.
yeah, and he thought the match was awesome. He said we were fighting toe to toe all the time, and he
Yeah.
said the match was awesome. What do you think about your first fight, bare knuckle?
It was a great fight. I love Reggie. Reggie's a great dude. I just was very disappointed with myself because I never let my hands go. It sounds really stupid, but in boxing, even though you're wearing 8-ounce gloves, you still have an inch of padding in there. So when I'm throwing a punch without padding, without a glove on, I'm like a half step short when I'm throwing my punches. So in the first fight, I wasn't connecting. I figured it out real quickly when I went to number 4 and I knocked out the dude in Mexico. So I got my distance down now. We're ready. We're ready to compete. I can't wait to do it again. I mean, my last one was in February. I'm ready to go again. I've done 5 out of the 10 shows.
About that knockout, how did it happen against Ivan Roca, Mexican guy? How did that knockout happen?
It happened. He actually, well, first I put him down with a, what was it, 1-2, so jab and a right hand. I caught him with the right hand, and my corner, the guy working the corner was yelling at me to be the aggressor and go at him. I was like, dude, just shut up. I know what I'm doing. Because in bare knuckle, you can't just go at someone right away because when you knock someone down, their instinct is to survive. So they're just going to flail punches. That's how you get cut. And in bare knuckle, if you get cut, you're going to probably get cut seriously, and they can end the fight. So I kept good head on my shoulders, was under control. I ended up putting him down again with a double jab. And then in the end of the second round, I got him with an overhand right, which if you get hit with my overhand right, especially in bare knuckle, you're not getting up. So as soon as I hit him with that, I knew he was out. He was actually out on his feet. So he like face planted into the canvas. I stepped over top of him, didn't look back at him, and I'd go like this and I'd wipe my hands. I knew he wasn't getting up. And that happened because he he threw a jab, and when you're taught to throw a jab, you always turn your thumb down, and your shoulder is supposed to block your chin, which is what you're supposed to do. He tried to do that, so he didn't see the overhand right because it came right over his shoulder until it was right there in his face. So he had no way of protecting himself. It was a perfect knockout.
You mentioned when we talk about Reggie some difference between boxing and bare knuckle. Can you make how to say a bit wider comparison? Which are other differences that a guy who comes, let's say, from boxing faces when he comes to
Yeah.
bare knuckle, aside of
Oh
not
yeah.
having gloves?
Well, obviously not wearing the gloves is a big factor. I mean, you saw Paulie Malignaggi did the fight. Um, the thing is, I have really tough hands. I mean, I'm a little guy. I got some big hands and big knuckles. Okay, so if I can hit a cinder block wall, if I can hit someone, it's not going to hurt when I punch someone in the head. The big difference is when you actually do get punched in boxing, a punch will slide off, right? So if you get caught, it'll slide, it'll graze off. In bare knuckle, that's not the case. It'll dig in. Knuckle will dig in, whereas a glove will slide off you. Um, Honestly, like I said, the difference between gloves and bare knuckle, that little bit of space, and you're not going to notice it until you actually do a bare knuckle fight. So I think that the MMA guys actually have a little bit of an advantage because they're used to not really having anything on their hands. Even though they do have that glove on, that glove doesn't really create the distance that a boxing glove does.
After Ivan Roca, who was your opponent?
After Ivan Rocco is Abdiel Velasquez, and that I was very disappointed with that one. That was we were told at the fighter meeting before the fight, you're here to fight. That's what you're getting paid to do. If you don't fight, there's going to be repercussions, such as they're going to take money from your purse, or there'll be points taken off. Okay, so when we're fighting, as always, I'm the aggressor. I do not back up. He was fleeing because I got him with a good shot in the beginning, and he'll tell you that I got him with a nice right hand, and he knew he didn't want to get hit with that hand again, so he kept the distance. He would pity pat and get away, like it is bare knuckle. So if I get touched, shit's gonna swell up. Of course it is. It's bare knuckle, but like it didn't hurt me. If it hurt me, I would have never backed up. So I lost the decision, even though Bill Clancy was a ref. He warned him 5 or 6 times about fleeing because I'm cursing at Clancy. I'm cursing at Abdiel Velasquez. I'm like, yo, come on, let's fight. And he kept giving him warnings, but no points were ever taken, which kind of pissed me off. But you got to realize the sport's also just starting. You know, I mean, this was number 6, so it was still at the early stages.
I know about MMA rulebook. The guy who pushes the pace will probably win if the round is even. Is there that rule in bare knuckle or not?
I guess it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be, but it depends on the judge. Some judges want to see what they call ringmanship, and also it's hard to judge bare knuckle. Okay, you can hit me as many times as you want in the head, you're not going to hurt me. But I was lifting his ass up when I was hitting him to the body. When I'm hitting him to the body, a body punch hurts. Okay, a headshot is just for fans. It's just for people to see, like, oh my God, holy shit, he punched him in the nose. Yeah, great. Who gives a shit? It doesn't hurt. A body punch hurts. So I'm digging his body. I'm lifting him up off his feet when I'm hitting him, and they weren't giving me any of those points. It was bullshit. And then after that fight, I had Dat win. I fought him on a 4-day notice. We got fight of the night. I only had 4 days to train, okay? So actually, technically, I only had 2 or 3 days because I came in on Thursday, and Thursday and Friday were nothing but meetings or interviews for the fight. So I literally had like 2 or 3 days to train, get myself in shape, because I wasn't supposed to fight. So I wasn't in the gym training. I was working. I work construction, and I also have my own landscape company. So I always work. So they gave me the call. They're like, yeah, you want to fight? I said, yeah, sure. When will we fight? They're like, Saturday. I was like, this Saturday? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right, who am I fighting? He said, that win. I said, of course, no problem. I got fight of the night.
Dat Nugget was also my guest. You probably noticed that. And he spoke about that fight, especially when I asked him about that one. He said, the fight was awesome. Just like, I'll tell you my thoughts on that fight. It kind of reminded me on Caleb Harris versus Jim Allers, like a copycat fight of that fight. And for that, he said it was kind of very, very difficult for him that first round. He said that he barely survived round 1. But then, I mean, you fought for 5 rounds. So what do you actually think of that fight?
I wish I would have had a camp, because the thing is, he survived the first round because I didn't have the energy for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, 5th round. Like, my cardio was lacking. I don't show it because I have a very good poker face. But, I mean, if I could have kept up round 1 for all 5 rounds, A, he wasn't going to survive, or B, I'm winning a unanimous decision. So, and that's against... He's an elite boxer. Like, that win is a great boxer. He's a great guy. I love that. That's a great dude. If you watch a fight, all we did was make jokes to each other. Like the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, all we're doing is making fun of each other. We had a blast. That was one of my favorite fights.
Would you like to add something we missed? Would you like maybe to mention something?
I just want to thank everybody that has anything to do with Bare Knuckles, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships. I want to thank all of you for all the work that we put in so far. After this coronavirus is over with, we'll be back at it, back into put on some more shows. I can't wait. I can't wait to knock someone the fuck out. I'm telling you right now. I love this shit, and I can't wait to be back in there. This is what I do. I'm a fighter. I've been fighting my entire life. Dave knows this, and he knows I can't wait to be back in there, and I will be. You're going to know who the animal is. Everyone will be. Don't worry about it. I'm definitely coming back. I'm hurting somebody. I can't wait.
Awesome, Travis. Thank you so much for this interview. I enjoyed this interview pretty much. I can't wait for bare knuckle to get back on its feet. I mean, when this pandemic ends.
Yep. Yep. I agree. Yeah, I want to thank you for doing the interview. I appreciate your time. Thanks for hitting me up. And whenever you want to do another one, I'm always there, man. I love this.
Absolutely, Travis. When the next fight is done, I will call you again. No worries.
My man, awesome.
All right.
I can't wait for the next fight because I should be on it, you know. People want to see the animal.
Me want to see it too. About that, Nugget, I got up in the middle of the night to watch that fight. Just to tell you about that, because it was that debut, and I was like, I'm gonna watch it no matter what
That's
happens.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a great day. I will publish it probably. It will be probably your early morning when I publish it. But I will send you. You will see.
I appreciate it. Thanks, brother. I appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Later.